Oh man, guys, we come over here to Deep South to pick blueberries this morning, and I drove around to one of the peach trees here, and I can't leave this. Look at that.
We're gonna take these home.
These going back home with us.
They'll
Look
finish turning.
Yeah, but they're ready.
Are they soft?
Now this one ain't.
Yeah, they're starting, but they'll turn.
This one's not right here, but that.
That's 4.
If we leave them over here, the squirrels will just get them.
5. Hold on, I got a bowl. How many is that? 8.
2, 4, 6, 7.
There's one up here.
8. It's really hard.
Okay.
There's one over here. It's real hard too. I think I'll leave them.
All right, but
that
look.
way. Look at that.
That's pretty nice.
Ain't that nice?
Not what we expected today.
I didn't even know they were around here.
But
wow.
We've got.
Now this was a June gold, is what this tree was, and the freeze and the snow this year almost killed it, and it started sprouting back out down low down here again. I ain't messed with it. I hadn't been here to take care of it, and just coming to pick blueberries this morning, we drove around behind the property back here, and there was what we found. Look at that. And
we picked about, what, 2 to 3 gallons of blueberries probably.
Oh, 3 to 4.
Yeah, 3 to 4.
I have over 2 gallons just in what I picked. So
yeah, maybe close to 4.
Close to 4 gallons. So, and we didn't even touch them. You know, I mean, it's just. And then I look here at the muscadines. I haven't had time to trim them over here. I hadn't been over here. I barely got a chance to mow them. And them things are just taking over. They back up in the mayhaws. We had them all cut out of mayhaws, and they done grew it all back up in them. Now we did harvest the mayhaws. A good bit of mayhaws this year. We did. But when you're not here all the time, you can't take care of it like you need to.
But I'm excited.
I'm always excited for peaches. I love peaches, you know, so it's always good when you can get some fresh peaches.
All right, we have this big old bowl Danny picked full, and then this thing is a huge thing, and it's half full, so probably
it's close to 4 gallons.
4 gallons.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Nice morning out here. Got me and Wanda's down here in the woods at the food plot. It's 68 degrees. We had a front come in last night and cool things off a little bit. Supposed to still be up to 90 today, so we're kind of getting an early start. Sun hadn't even started coming up good yet. We've got a food plot right here that y'all seen me. This is food plot number 1. We cleared it years ago. This was the original food plot that the elderly gentleman had on the property here. And back then it didn't have any trees in it. A lot of pecans had come up in it, so I left them when I went through here tying ribbons on it as I was pushing it and clearing it. I mean, you can see the trash piles in the background back there. I left them back there. I didn't burn them because the quail and the turkeys and the rabbits are loving them because they get up under them and they lay their eggs up in there. And since I've been...
The rabbits don't lay eggs.
I didn't mean the rabbits lay eggs. The turkeys and the quails get up under there. The turkeys and the quails get up under there and lay their eggs, and then the rabbits, they like to hide up in there too because it's a trash pile. And since I've eradicated most all the possums and raccoons and foxes and coyotes and stuff like that out of here, they all seem like they can coexist together and they don't bother one another. And we've got a really good hatch. Last year we had a great hatch off of baby turkeys and baby quail. Now, and we've actually got the comeback of some rabbits are starting to come back. So what we're going to do this morning is we're going to top seed this. I have a mixture of clay peas. Let's see, what else was in that? Sunflower seeds, clay peas, some millet, and vetch. And all this was a food plot mixture I picked up at one of my local hardware stores here. So we're going to come in here, and this is a summer food plot. We had on camera this year, we had 7 different bucks. I shot 2 young ones that had malformed horns. I went ahead and took them out as cull bucks, so we'd have, you know, for deer meat for this past year. And I left all the nice rack bucks. We had 2 4 points, 2 6 points, 2 8 points, and 1 7 point show up on our cameras here. And plus we have lots of mamas and lots of babies. So the summer food plots are actually very necessary for the development of horns in the bucks and for the mamas having the babies in the summertime here, because it's bad hot here. And there is absolutely, when I tell you there's no agriculture around us, there is no agriculture within a 10-mile radius of us probably that even goes on. And then the agriculture you see is just a hay field. There's not any corn crops grown or anything like that. There may be a few little families like us that plants a garden or something every now and then, but it's very rare where we live at to even see a garden. So the wildlife basically have to live off of acorns, underbrush, you know, eating leaves. People like us who plant food plots and stuff like that, that's what they have to keep them going. So we like to try to at least keep the food plots going. Now, when I cleared this is the native grass that was here the elderly gentleman had in here originally. This is Argentina Bahia grass up here under this. And I did not push it off the top of the ground. I just went through and knocked the bushes up out of it. And I've been kind of taking care of it, and it's gradually inching its way out into the food plot here. Plus, it's starting to come up in patches out here. Every so often, you'll see a patch of it starting to pop up. And I'll let it go to seed, and then I'll cut it down. Because the Argentina Bahia is really some good grass. I mean, this stuff, it's like you don't even have to fertilize it. It just does. You look at it, how dark green and how deep it is. Now, I did come in here. Mr. Jerry gave me a bunch of quince trees, and I did plant a quince right here. It's kind of had a little bit of a challenge in here because the deer keep mowing the tops off of it, which I don't care. I just planted it down here for them anyway. And then we have a persimmon. These are all persimmons right here. I left the persimmons and an oak tree standing right here so that the wildlife would have some persimmons down in here. Now, it's not like there's no persimmons, guys. I bet you I bush hogged down 500 out in here whenever I was bush hogging this. I mean, they're everywhere. But I did leave some bigger trees that'll have the actual persimmons on them for the wildlife to have here. And of course, we have an occasional cedar tree. You know, there's a little bitty one we left over there from Ms. Wanda. She likes to leave her cedar trees. I left one in the woods right over there. I left one out here. She just was adamant about that one. And the bucks this year has just about destroyed that tree. And I got a steel fence post drove beside it right now, still holding it up. They've about stripped all the bark off of it. I don't even know how it's alive, to be honest with you. But it's still green, and I'm going to leave it, you know, as long as it'll stay. But there is I know you can't see up there's an old pickup truck sitting off in the woods over here. We've talked about that. The elderly gentleman that lived here, this was all, 30-something years ago, this was all pasture land. And he would come down here and sit in that old pickup truck of his. He drove it down here and parked it, and that was his shoot house. He would sit in it and roll the window down and shoot the deer out of this food plot right here when they came in here. And I left the truck in the woods here because it's kind of just a conversation piece for us, basically. So we got to get busy before this cool morning gets away from us and see if we can't get the beans and all spread first, and then we're going to turn around and take the Kubota, and we're going to disc them in. Guys, this is the mixture we're going to be spreading here. You can see it in here. There's some clover. I forgot to mention the clover's in there. There's clay peas, sunflowers, millet, all that kind of stuff is in this mixture right here. And this clover is summer clover, so it should grow during the summer. Now we're going to be spreading it with our Polaris ATV, and this is the Byers. I think they call this a salt spreader, to be honest with you. I don't know why. But we're going to be spreading it with that. I'm going to see if I can't get all this hooked up here. I usually do a test run on this thing before I fill it up with seeds. And I hadn't done it yet. I filled it up with fertilizer one time and the motor was out on it and I didn't realize it, and I had to unload that sucker. And I always take my fingers. Yeah, it still spins. Do my little test run on it before I do anything. Is it spinning?
It's spinning, yep.
Huh?
It's spinning and it stopped.
Uh-oh. I got it plugged in, it should.
Now it's spinning.
Okay. I have a certain distance. Let me pull on out the field. Don't want all my seed coming out all at once. So.
Ow! Ow! We got our old disc out here. We've had this thing for, gosh, I've had it since I was a young man. The blades ain't the best in the world on it, but we use it for things like the food plot and all that, because there's probably a few roots and sticks still in the ground. That way we don't have to worry about messing up nothing. It still works pretty good, you know. So we got the angles all set on it, so we're gonna run out here and see if we can't cleat all this up pretty good. I'm hoping I can cover them up about 1 inch deep, but if I can't, then what'll happen is I'll have to come back and run my section hair over it and try to, you know, at least get them covered up there pretty good, because we got a lot of rain coming this week, supposed to, on and off showers, and I'd like to have all this done before the rain gets in here.
am going to have to go get my section hair. It turned up a lot rougher than I thought, you know. And I don't want to leave the food plot that way because it would be so uneven. If we want to drive across it or do anything like that, we'll be banging and beating around. So I'm going to go take the disc off, put my section hair on, and come in here and bust all this stuff up and lay it down level and see if I can't get these seeds covered up, because I still see the seeds scattered on top of the ground in places, and I really want to try to cover them up as much as possible. Well guys, we come back out to pick some blueberries again this morning, and we had a couple of peach trees. This one was laying off with this one, it done fell off. I got to looking, and that's kind of a small one there. These are all, I think they're all
getting soft.
And
that's a good size one.
That's pretty there. Look at that.
Perfect.
Actually, no worms or nothing. It's kind of unusual. A little. One up there.
That's not bad.
They're not bad peaches. You know?
And we have that tree.
Yeah, this tree. I just took the wrap off of this one.
We've done harvested a couple and eat them.
These were real good.
That one's ready.
Look at that, pretty. Is there any more on the tree?
I don't think so. Just one, but it's not. It looks like it's just barely turning. It's
barely
hard.
Turning. Yeah. We got a bunch of sprouts that come up from the ground down here. They're below the graft. I don't actually know what they are. I'm gonna leave them right now. I'm not gonna worry about it.
But now we got.
This one's got several more left on it. They're not quite ready yet.
We got blueberries.
Well, we have another peach over here.
This one. It's got some babies.
It's got the little peaches on it. This one here is drying up, falling off right here.
Looks like something's.
No, they just ain't. They're later peach, I think.
It's a later peach. They're so small.
We had another tree here. This one here was a dwarf tree that bore peaches like crazy. And over at Deep South, we brought it over here and planted it, and the dadgum deer come in here and they just rubbed on it and pushed it all over to the ground, and
it ain't doing.
And it's gonna probably die. I mean, they did a number on it. They hit the methyl plum, they bent it all over. Now the one we just picked the peaches off of,
the bucks actually, I don't know how this tree's alive. They scraped almost all the bark off of this tree. It's almost all gone. I don't even know how it's even alive. And
We'll probably lose it this winter.
it's possible that it'll die, but I mean, they had this tree bent over, and I just didn't get a chance to get to the deer. They were coming late at night doing it, and kind of frustrating, but we didn't have all this fenced in. We got the posts up right here starting the fencing, but we didn't actually get any kind of fencing up. You know, you do what you can do, I reckon.
Maybe this year.
I planted a Mr. Jerry peach here, one I raised right here. This peach, they did kill this peach tree. They completely killed it down. And I came up here and dug it up, and I planted one of my Mr. Jerry peaches here that I raised right there. So hopefully we're gonna see how this white peach does up here. And hopefully by then maybe we might have a fence around this thing or something. Keep the deer out.